The beavers have been busy. Look at the stump. Looks like they freshen up the stump by taking the bark off of it. And this tree and that tree. And then you look over on the other side and there's that tree. They've done quite a bit of work on that one. And that one. I believe there are some others, but those are definitely the two bigger ones. And if you look at this one, that's probably a tree's probably more than 12 inches in diameter, and it's starting to work on that tree. And then of course this one here, this one's laying down. They have basically stripped all the bark off of it. And done a little bit of work on this. There's at least one other over on the other side of the pond that I saw. That's a small area that they have worked on. But going back to this one, if you notice, there's a pile of beaver chews, or whatever you want to call them, that are at the base of that tree where the beavers have been chewing on and dropping the chips. But anyway, I don't see any tracks in the snow, so I'd say it was before the snow, which is about a week and a half old. Here's some more evidence of the beavers. And you can see underneath the snow is one, but that was standing the last time I was here, which obviously has been a couple months. But they have working on that, and there's a little one there, but I'm going to try to get down here a little closer to this one. You can see they've been there, and so it appears that this is their path out from underneath their right here is their path out from underneath their lodge, which their lodge is this right here. That's their lodge. So if I zoom out a little bit, get an idea. That's their lodge, and then you see this path here, and then let's see, right at the edge of their lodge they've been chewing. But then you come over, and right there is that one, and there's a tree there, and then can't really see it, but right there is another one that's a stump, and there's a tree laying under the snow there they have chewed. There's some others around here. This seems to all have been cleared off relatively recently, where they have been at work here. Okay, we'll have some more over here, and if you look underneath that tree, you see somewhere they chewed there. Over here closer to us is some that have been pieces of it. And then if you look, there's this trail across the ice, and then look, what do we have here? The trail leads over to it, and there's another trail here kind of in the middle of the, coming over here to some of the others have been chewed. So, and oh, and if you look, there's some more, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's some others over there that I can see and kind of see there between the trees. There's another one that's been chewed, and then there's this one here that I pointed out, but what about right there? There's a lot of fresh beaver chewing going on here, and I'd say they were really busy just before the snowstorm. This is another view of some of the beaver that chews that we saw from across. There's some of it. There's that. You'll see up here, if I kind of stop, you'll see that, and there's a tree that's completely chewed down. There's one that the stump has been chewed on. There's this one, and there's that one. Blue's over there, and so here's this one that I was able to see from across. pretty cool. But is also very detrimental to the timber here. If you look at how much they're chewing on these trees. So there's this one over here. I'll walk around this one to kind of see what it looks like all the way around. Let's see. They have just stripped the bark off of it. This one they have not even tried to chew down. It's just stripping the bark off of it. There. And then over here there's another couple more here. You see there. And there's that one, but over here, right there, is one that is a small one that's been chewed down. This looks relatively fresh here. And I think I just found the evidence here. Right here is where they come up. So I think this goes down. Yep, the beavers are going in and out of this one. And so I noticed that this is fresh. This is on top of the snow. This one is, and that one is on top of the snow. And so they have been coming over here, coming through this hole and coming up here. And so I believe this is the place where last summer we helped a fawn that had fallen down into this hole. And so now this hole very likely goes down into the ground underneath the lake here. This lake is, and then there, over there is where their lodge is. And there's a lot of fresh beaver damage around here. But wow, this is interesting. I had not seen this till just now. It hadn't been back over here since this spring or this past summer when we found the fawn in this.